Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, so there's one last Valentine project today. This is the card we'll be making. I'm using the meant to be cling stamp set and the coordinating dies, Be Mine stitch framelit dies. I just love the faux stitching on these dies. There are 16 dies in this set. This one cuts out a positive and a negative. Positive, and that's a negative, so you get two uses out of the one die cut. They do that in two sizes, so there's another one here which is smaller and does the same thing. And in the same nest there's this one which cuts out the scalloped heart with the faux stitching. These two dies only does the stitching in situ on the card. There's a filigree one which is very detailed with open work for that. Second nest, this one cuts out a whole heart like so, stitched as you can see, and the remaining nest contains 3 sizes of elongated heart shapes. There's a long one that will cut out the scalloped edge with the faux stitching. This one cuts out the open work hearts, and then you'll have the hearts inside, which you can use as heart confetti. And this cuts out the scroll, that cuts out the rose and leaves, and this cuts out another floral detail. And this last one will cut out some patterns on your cardstock like that. First you need some cardstock because I'm cutting a delicate rose like that, and it's going to be really fiddly to try and put fine tip glue on all the edges. It's just easier to use a self-adhesive sheet like this and place your cardstock on top, which I've already done here. So all I have to do is just place my die on top and die cut it. Card base is lovely lipstick. This measures 4 1/8 by 11 3/4, which is half an A4 size in Europe. This has been folded in half. In metric, that's converted to 10.5 centimeters by 29.8 centimeters. You need a basic grey mat that measures 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. In metric, that's 9.8 by 14.9 centimeters. I've already die cut 2 little hearts that I needed for this project, and also one for the card we're going to be making. It will be covered up by the very vanilla layer, so you won't see it. A very vanilla layer which has been cut at 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. That's 9.2 by 13.7, which will go on top of that. And for the inside of the card, you need one that is 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 9.5 by 14 centimeters. You also need some very vanilla scrap to die cut this heart here. You need the Subtles Dynamic Textured Impressions embossing folder, heart epoxy droplets, the Big Shot platform, and one of the cutting plates for embossing with the dynamic embossing folder. Bring in your magnetic platform, base cutting plate, your cardstock, and you need to cut out this aperture first. Place that on your cardstock, say about halfway. Let's move that up. Place this other piece of cardstock so you can then die cut the rose. Top cutting plate, and you're ready to run it through the Big Shot. Set these aside for the moment. Mount your stamp on a block and stamp Happy Valentines on your scrap of Whisper White. Bring back the magnetic platform, base cutting plate, your cardstock with the adhesive backing sheet on it, butt that up to the end of the line like so, secure it with washi tape like so, and make sure it doesn't move before you run it through the big shot, because sometimes the magnets polarizes and your paper and die might go out of alignment. So more washi tape is advisable. And then we also need to cut out another heart. And it's best to run it lengthways, this way, rather than sideways. Next, colour in your epoxy dots. I need a big one and 2 little ones. You also need to die cut the Happy Valentine's Day that you stamped with this die here. It's the smaller of the 2 scallop dies that has a positive and negative heart to it. So top cutting plate on, and I'll run that through the big shot as well. You can save that positive image for another project. Now we get to the embossing. So you need your basic big shot platform, the dynamic embossing folder, so pop that in. You have a line here to help you line it up. You need to emboss the heart as well, so I'll do that next to it. Close that, orient it this way so that the hinge on the portrait side of the platform. Top cutting plate, and then I'm ready to run it through the big shot, so I'll do that off camera. Now I've got all my pieces cut, I can assemble the card. So I'm just going to lift the backing sheet off this and pop it along there. Remove the backing paper from here. We'll glue it down. Dimensionals on my heart. Bit of adhesive on here. Now I can stick that down to the basic grey layer. Put more dimensionals on. Tap that underneath. Grab the epoxy dots and glue this to my card front. And just a little bit more stamping for the inside of the card. Make sure that's straight. Stamping it in lovely lipstick. A couple of the hearts here. Adhesive on the back of this. And glue it to the inside of the card. And there's your card finished. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, then do give me a thumbs up. I'd be ever so grateful. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye!